Hi there. In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health, and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis, and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset, and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. And before we get started on this episode today, I just wanted to give you some really amazing news that I am so excited about. So Friday was my podcast birthday. So it was my first birthday for the podcast, 25th of June. A year ago, I created Happy, Inspired, Motivated. And you guys have been on my journey and you've helped me grow. And together we've created a new energy in the world because we're working together to become more expansive and stepping into our true potential and really ramping up our powerful message. And that is so amazing. And I'm so blessed to have been a part of that with you. But what I'm celebrating today is the fact that yesterday I checked my status for the podcast, for Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast, which was in the top 10% globally. And it actually was in the top 5%. So we've moved up to the top 5% all over the world, out of all the podcasts in the world. And I was just so excited and ecstatic and thrilled and just absolutely amazed. I spent the first 10 minutes in the morning dancing around, whooping and getting really excited because I'm just so proud of this podcast, and I'm so proud of you and being on this journey with me. So thank you for helping this podcast reach more people. Literally the top 5% globally. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you today before we got into the podcast. Because it really means a lot to me, and it's something that I'm really proud of. So thank you. So today's podcast is with a lady called Karissa. Now, Karissa created the business that she's in because of ill health, and she was very overweight and quite inactive. And because of that, she changed her life around and now helps other women become fitter, healthier, better versions of themselves physically and emotionally and mentally as well. And she does that not through diets or strict regimes, but she helps them to step into their true selves and really she creates a coaching program that helps people transform their lives. Now, Karissa is also in a competition at the moment, and it ends on Thursday. So please, if you're listening to this before the 1st of July, please, can I ask you that you vote for Karissa? I will put a link in the show notes, but the voting ends on the 1st, and she's competing for the title of Miss Health and Fitness 2021 for Hers magazine. So it's a really big competition. It's global. She was at the end of last week in the top 15 competing for this title. So please click on the link. Maybe do it right now. Pause this episode, click on the link, vote for her. It's free to vote for the day, and help her get to be number one, because she truly deserves to be Miss Health and Fitness 2021. You'll learn all about her in this episode as she talks about her own mental and physical transformation and why she started helping other women achieve their health, weight, and life goals. So don't forget to vote for Karissa. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. And also enjoy the episode. Hi, Karissa, and welcome to Happy, Inspired, Motivated. How are you doing today?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
I'm really excited that you've come here. So you're based in New Mexico, as you know, as we've just talked about before we came on. How are you finding it over there? How are things doing?
It's great. It's a new station for me here in New Mexico. I'm recently married. My husband is stationed here. He's active duty. And so it's a change from where I'm from, but I like it. I mean, it's warmer, so I can't complain.
So your husband's in the military, because you said at one point you lived in Germany as well. Was that through that as well?
So my ex-husband, I was married for 15 years. We met, I'm from Nebraska and right smack in the middle of the United States. And of course I met him there. We got orders. We were stationed in Germany for about 3 years. I toured all over Europe. I really took advantage of being over there. I loved it. Yes. So amazing, so green, and I love the culture there. I'm all about it. And so I'm like, one day I'm going to get back to Europe, but no, I mean, some things happened, life happened, and I found myself in a divorce, and then a couple of, years later, married my best friend, and who I feel that I am truly meant to be with. We got some beautiful kids out of the first marriage and a lot of support, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't right. So, and you got to find this.
Yeah, definitely. So were you were you in the military as well then?
No. That life would not be good for me.
So what did you do when you were based, for example, over in Germany? What did you do when you were there?
That was the first time in my entire life, actually, that I didn't work. So I grew up always in the back of my mom's bridal shop. I've always been, like a small business baby, go color because I have to go help a customer, Karissa. And that's the life I grew up in. And so, I worked for my mom prior to us moving there. And when we got there, my daughter was about 1.5, and it didn't pay to put her in the daycare on base for the types of jobs that I could get. And so I was like, I'm gonna travel. So that's what I did. I was a stay-at-home mama, and I just picked up, and we would go to Luxembourg, and we'd go to, Belgium for a couple of days. Like, I just lived my best life over there.
That's so cool.
And it was also will always be in my heart, and I will always remember the people that I met there. Honestly, because I was also the best part about being there was very happy. I felt very free, but it was also the worst part in my physical health. I had a major, life-changing moment when we were stationed there.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. My son loved it. My family loved it. But thank goodness I was there, and a doctor slapped me with some hard to hear truth. But because I was at the lowest point, probably physically and mentally in my life. But happy on the outside, because I love to travel and visit different places.
So is that when you started to turn things around and get involved with health and fitness?
Yes. Yeah. So as a child, I was an athlete. I was a gymnast. So I was always, able to eat whatever I wanted. And there was a lot of trauma in my childhood, like many people have, and not necessarily major trauma, but trauma is trauma. And we all experience it, I think, differently. Yeah. But I had just come out, when I met my husband, I had just come out of a really nasty, abusive relationship, like for a couple of years, abusive relationship. And I just was in a point in my life where when I met him, I was just like, well, at least he doesn't hit me. Like, at least he's safe. Like, that was where I kind of met him. So when we got stationed there, I spent the 3 previous years just packing on the weight. And I didn't realize, into myself. But so yeah, there we were in Germany. I was at a doctor's office, and I was at an appointment for my daughter. She was about 2.5, running around in the office. And the doctor looked at me and she said, Karissa, you're 5 foot tall. You're 213 pounds. If you don't change your lifestyle today, right? Like, you might not be around for that little girl in 10 years or 15 years, or to watch her get married. And I'll be honest, I was upset. I was frustrated. I was embarrassed. I was sad. She just called me out, and she said the O word. And so I was mad, and I grabbed my belongings. I literally probably football carried Sarah out of there. And that whole day, I smoked about a pack of cigarettes that night, drank 2 bottles of wine, and went to bed hoping to God that I would just not feel so sad the next morning. But I feel that appointment, it opened my eyes to reality, because the very next day I get back from walking my son to the bus stop. I sit on the couch, got coffee in my hand, kind of feeling like crap, feeling still like a victim,
Yeah.
and thinking like, why me, And I looked over at a picture of my mom, Tara, and for the first time in my entire life, I saw myself as her. I saw 320 pounds. I saw cancer and diabetes, and the quality of her life that she was living.
Mm.
She was happy, but she was stressed all the time, right? Like, she was doing what she loved to do, but she gave a bit of herself to everyone else and never did anything for her own health. And I had that epiphany, and I was like, if I don't change, the doctor's right. I'm going to be just like my mama, and I love her and she's my best friend, but I want more for myself. And that was the day that changed my life. Like, I literally bossed up and I was like, I don't know what I got to do, but I got to start doing something now.
So what did you do that started changing things?
Yes. Well, I believe that every person knows what we need to do. I mean, I could probably ask anyone on the street that is unhappy in their body, and they could tell me about 20 different things that they could do. In fact, I think it's those thoughts that run in our heads of all the shoulds and the coulds that keep us stuck, because there's so many. And along with the should comes with guilt and, all these other nasty feelings. So I sat there and I was like, Karissa, what do you think you need to do? Like, what do you know about losing weight at the end of the day? And I was like, well, I need to probably eat less, clean up my diet, and I need to move my body. I mean, sure, I was traveling, but literally to get in the car, drive to a place, take some pictures, like try and avoid me being in pictures because I hated the way I looked. So I was like, I have to move and I have to eat better. And so those were the first two habits that I changed 11 years ago. Right. And I had no idea what clean eating meant at the time. I really didn't. I was like, well, I guess chicken and sweet potatoes and tuna and salad is it. But I used to eat my feelings and I would cope with eating. And so just going from 3 platefuls to 1 was huge, probably, for me. And then, once that became easier, and I built up some discipline with eating less, then I started cleaning up the diet. Like, I started, researching and thinking, looking for things that I could do, because I was tired of eating chicken and salads and tuna.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I was like, this is really boring and this is not going to last. And honestly, exercise, it was easier than the food. That is for sure. Nutrition is always the thing that I think holds a lot of people up. But, when you hate your body, and you don't feel like you belong in the gym, it is really hard to walk into a place and step on an elliptical or whatever and just be like, this sucks every minute of the day. But I did it. And then I realized, I'm like, I need support and I need, community. And I know I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. So I just started reaching out and doing all kinds of other things when it came to my exercise. But those were the very 2 habits that I switched from the go.
And well, now you look amazing. I mean, I don't know what you like before, but you look amazing right now, because you've just been in the pool and you're all sun-kissed and all glamorous. Obviously they can't see on the podcast, but I can see and I can tell you people, she looks fantastic. So
thank you.
You're very welcome. So you started doing that, and did you start helping people when you were still in Germany? Did people start sort of coming to you for advice then, or did you come back to the States first?
No. So I was back to the States. We were only there for 3 years. So we moved back, and about halfway through the tour is when I had this epiphany. So once I moved back, I lost my mom. I lost my mom to cancer, and literally the day I got back to Nebraska, it was the day that I, went to a floral shop and I made her flowers and I prepared her funeral. And I could have allowed that to that's life, right? Like, that's life throwing you a curveball. Yeah. And I could have allowed that to just take me all the way back to the darkness. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this pain and I'm going to use it as motivation, and I'm going to continue continue to change. So I started, I committed to another gym. I signed up for another like boot camp type membership class, and it was kickboxing. And I'll never forget, because there's something really fun about a woman just taking, her anger out on bags. But that was my therapy. The gym saved my life, and I just went back to what I know. But through that program, you find your tribe, you find more women who are just like you, who are literally just trying to show up and be a better version of them, and lose weight and be healthy and feel good mentally. And so that's where I feel like people started really looking at me, because they could see I was about 170 at this point. So I lost a lot of the fat in Germany. I feel like in the States is where I started to tone up. So I think that they were watching me go from 160 to 150 to 140. And along with, the gym, they also saw me making posts about meal prep and my, like weighing in for my nutrition, my nutritionist. So I think that this community just started to see this amazing woman, right, go from like, I felt already awesome, to even better, right? My life was thriving at all levels. But I was still in corporate. I was in the corporate life at this time. And the community saw the scale go down, but they saw the confidence rise. And it was at that point in my corporate career, about 2017, I have women start reaching, we need help, and you clearly have figured it out. And whoa, I have a job. I will help you on the side. So coaching for me really started as a side passion. Like I was like, I just want to help you. Yeah, I'll come over and help you food prep, and I'll come over and talk about your stress. And all of these things led me to becoming a full-time coach, and ultimately following my passion and my dreams of starting my business.
That's amazing. It's all, so many people that I've spoken to have always had some moment that the universe has just thrown at them that's made them turn stuff around and get on the right path that they're supposed to be on.
Yeah. Rock bottom moments, baby. There's no way but up. And I think that that's huge to recognize those moments, like you can I always say you have two choices. You can either stay stuck or you can rise to the top. And that choice is yours. I deal with clients all the time who aren't ready, who I feel that I'm like, you haven't hit your rock bottom yet, because you're not going to show up for your best self. And I don't take every client on until I feel that on the opposite, end of the phone, that I'm like, you're in some pain, and you will do what it takes to get the job done. So yeah, you got to listen, and you got to be, look for the rock bottom moments, and then be willing to just change. You got to be willing to change.
Do you think you would have found your way to this point if you hadn't have been in that doctor's surgery?
I honestly don't think so. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And the path that I was on in that moment, it was so dark, and it wasn't even a doctor appointment for me. It was for my daughter. And I never once would have ever considered surgery. I mean, I was like, I'm scared to death of surgeries. I watched my mom go through so many surgeries with cancer and just sickness. I'm like, I don't want any of that. I don't think that, I would be here. I know God has put me on this earth to do something big. I've always known that. I just didn't know what, and I didn't know how to use my past, my abusive relationships, my divorce, my trauma, all of that pain. I didn't know how to use it. I believe that went through all of that and got so much strength so that I could help other people overcome their challenges too.
And you've also written 2 Amazon best-selling books. So tell us a little bit about those. And I'm presuming they're about bossing up and taking your power back.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So Women Who Boss Up was my first book. They're both co-authored books. We hit Amazon best-selling author international, I should say. Yes. So that is my COVID baby. The publisher called me literally in March, over a year ago during COVID. We locked down, right? And she said, hey, you've got a story. I've been watching you. I want you in this book. And I was like, my story is not good enough for this book. Like, she's telling me about these doctors and women all over the country. They're changing lives. I'm like, that ain't me, girl. And she's like, yes, it is. And so that was the very first book. But the reason why I mentioned that one is because I think that that one gave me so much confidence, and it really allowed me to narrow my focus in my business and my clients. It gave me so much clarity on what's important to me and the impact I'm going to leave behind.
Mm.
So I just felt like, I mean, once you have that in business and in life, you are unstoppable. It's just, you don't even see obstacles anymore. You're like, cool, how do I get around it or below it or above it? And that book, I think, gave me that confidence to boss up, to rise again, to do a second book. What's next is like my own book. Now that I've writing a book with other authors, easy. I can do my own. So it just led me to so many opportunities and really finding my voice with all of the interviews I've done to promote that book. So yeah, I'm forever grateful for the amazing books. And I know you can buy them on my website. You can get the digital copies on Amazon, but the signed copies are only on my website.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like you said, the confidence that you got from doing the first one, just like, boom, I can knock this out of the park now. I can do this on
anything.
my own.
Anything. I'm like, what next, right? What else do I need to do in order to keep rising and just being the best version of me?
So you have created 365 Daily Hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit more about that as well.
Yes. Well, 365 Daily Hustle was born, I feel, from my personal setback, right, my journey that I was on. Funny story is it started out as a blog. I wanted to become a better writer back when I was in my marketing days, for the body shop that I worked for. And I was like, you know what? I hate writing, so I better just start practice writing. So why not write about something that I'm passionate about, which was health and fitness. And so eventually 2 months later, that was like, oh, I could turn this into my web developers hated me because I was constantly changing and evolving, but that's a good thing in my eyes. But so 365 Daily Hustle is my business, right? And me and my team of experts, we help women lose weight. We help them double their energy. We help them feel sexy and confident in their bodies, without dieting, without excessive workouts, without the guilt that most women tie to weight, and self-care. So the biggest thing, they come to me for 15, 20, 30, 40 pounds that they want to lose, but they leave my program feeling like energetic, alive, free. They are bossing up in their businesses. They're like, I didn't even know, right? Their relationships have improved. Like they're having more sex with their partners because they love their body for the first time in their entire life. Like they were like, I didn't even think that I could get what you gave me. And I'm like, yes, that is why I do what I do every single day. Me and my team, we have nutrition, personal trainers, transformational coaches. I'm certified life, health, mindset, and a personal trainer. So we love what we do and we get women the results that they want, for sure.
And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to feel sexy and good in their body? And, oh my goodness, that's just a given, isn't it? And to walk away with so much more as well. Like you say, their business improves, their relationships improve, because it's everything of all of these things come from within them. And once they're in their power, nothing stops them, does it?
No. It feels, they're like, how can I, and then they become addicted. Like, how can I get more? Because even healthy people want to improve. Like, it's not a destination. Like, well, when I'm 20 pounds, I'll be happy and I'll feel free, when I'm 20 pounds lighter. But no, I'm like, it just becomes fun. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. This taking care of you thing. It's definitely, it's needed in order to do lots of things in life.
So how do you, or what's your next step to improve so you're addicted to fitness and health and wellness. Yeah. What's your next goal that you want to conquer in that kind of world?
Ooh, honestly, I want to win. So I love a good competition. And 4 months ago, I apologize. 4 months ago, something came up on my Facebook post and it was like, you could be the next Miss Health and Fitness. And I was like, shut the front door, me?
The magazine, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, should I apply? And I'm like, no, I'm not like this fitness professional. Like I don't compete for a living. I'm just a woman living her best life, healthy wise, and helping other women do the same. And I was like, you know what, Karissa, boss up. Why not? Who cares? What's the worst they're going to say is no, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just back to doing my own thing. But turns out like 6 weeks ago, I got the text that says, you're in it, girl. And you are in this competition. It's a world competition. And over the next 6 weeks, I have to make it through 6 rounds of voting. And everyone who's listening today can, of course, vote for me daily.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't just want to win for me. I think that's the biggest difference between me and the competitors is I want to win to inspire others. I'm not going to use the money that I win to, like put in and take a vacation or things like that. I'm going to use the money that I win to give back to one of my favorite nonprofits, Fit Girl Inc. I want to use the money to be able to sponsor a female who can't afford my services, and I want to use that money to put back into my business to help more women. But more importantly, it's really important for me for a woman to open up the Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine, read my story and think, wow, if she can do it, I can do it, right? If she can go from 213 to being on a cover, I can do it. Like anything is possible. And that is what I want to spread all around the world, is that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And that is what winning this competition would mean to me.
So what do you have to do to win? Is it just through voting, or do you have to take part in doing anything?
I've already done the hard work, right? Which is putting myself out there. So as of now, it's all based on votes. Wow. So yeah, in less than 10 days, they'll have their top 15 in each group. And then all the top 15, they'll wipe the slate clean of all the votes and it'll re-go. And then every week I move through every round based on votes. So it literally is a matter of your vote could count and get me into this, like in the cover, being featured and to be able to donate $3,000 to, Fit Girl Inc. So yeah, every vote counts and that's all you have to do.
So where can people vote for your Miss Health and Fitness?
Well, you can vote on the website, 365DailyHustle.com.
Sorry, you a little bit there. So repeat that again.
Okay. You can vote really on 2 places. On my website, which is 365DailyHustle.com. There's a place for you to cast your vote. The easiest thing is for you to go to Facebook, find me, search me, Karissa Adkins, and right there on the very first banner is, of course, my voting link, and then I'll give it to you in case that helps.
That would be perfect because I can put that in the notes as well, and I'll definitely share it everywhere. Perfect. To make people vote for you. Come on.
Come on, help me
independent
win.
Woman who's turned her life around. I mean, yeah, definitely you need to vote. Does it also go on your strengths, or is it that kind of competition?
No, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to be dedicated. The criteria was you have to be a woman who's dedicated to fitness and health. And that's where I was like, well, that's me. I check that box all day long. And in fact, I don't do it for me. I do it for everyone that I meet. So that's what did it. I mean, obviously, if I was, maybe 200 pounds, I might not have been selected, but it all comes down to the answers that I wrote, my application that I filled out. So I'm not, it's not a fitness physique competition. There's no, like at the end of 6 weeks, you have to go and pose and hope to God you're being judged.
That's what I was thinking, like in a bikini, that kind of posing type.
Nope. It's all based on votes, which is totally cool, but totally scary at the same time.
Oh, I'm sure you've got like thousands of people voting for you already. So that's really cool.
I'm hoping. I'm in 3rd as of today. I'm in 3rd. We can kind of see our ranks. So yesterday was day 1 and I went from, 8th place to 5th place to 2nd place. And then around 8 o'clock when I went to bed, I went down to 3rd. So it's kind of fun to see that as their competitors are pushing certain people, rise up, we fall, we rise, just like life and business. But our goal today would be, by the end of today, would be to in 2nd. And then of course, maybe by the time this podcast airs, my goal is that I'm in the top 15.
So how many people get through each week?
So they're getting them down. We're all in groups. So I
Mhm.
don't know how many groups total there are, but there's about 20 women in my group alone.
Okay.
And so they're going to, in 10 days, they will pick their top 15 from my group. And then it's to my understanding that each top 15 will then, wipe those slate clean in 10 days. And then just the top 15 out of every group will then be going. And then it's literally 7 days. So every 7 days we'll go from top 15 to top 10 to top 5. And then on August 5th, they'll be calling Karissa Adkins saying,
Hey, oh my
we're
God.
manifesting that.
Yes, definitely. Put it out into the universe and
Yes.
imagine it's already happened. What are you going to do to celebrate?
I'm going to take myself out to dinner with my family. I'm going to, I get to be featured in the cover. So that to me is a celebration to be able to fly out, to pick my dream photo shoot, be photographer, like photographed amazing photographers and amazing looking clothes. So the only thing I think I'll buy for myself is probably 3 or 4 new fitness outfits, because when you go 7 days a week, they get quite the wear and tear. So other than that, I just want to give it back. I didn't get to where I am by, putting myself first all the time. It's always been giving back and into my community and support. So I want to do the same.
Perfect. Wow, that is amazing. I'm wishing you all the best, and I'm sure that you're going to win and
Thank
go
you.
out for dinner and then go on the photo shoot and just be absolutely phenomenal and plastered everywhere. So everyone knows your name and everyone can see you. That'll be absolutely amazing.
I'll probably buy the first 100 copies of the magazine.
Keep one in every room that you go in. If you go to the doctors or anything, put one on the thing and say, "Oh, that's me. Oh, by the way."
Yes. Oh, you need a copy and you need a copy.
Exactly. Just give them to everybody. Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
So, Karissa, the women that come to you, they go through your 365 daily hustle transformation program, which is your core program. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's over 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? So they overcome the weight loss and double their energy, as you said, look at the self-sabotaging beliefs and create more confidence.
Yes. Yeah. In 10 weeks.
And what's your next step from that?
So from that, we have grad babes. So really, I empower these women to start shifting their identity. They are no longer the woman that they used to see, right? And so in Reclaim, we really get into the shifting of, you're a boss babe, whether you own a business or not, but like, you are the CEO of your life and you are now taking responsibility for it. You are now doing the daily actions. So the Reclaim, you can't get to grad babes without going through Reclaim. And there's obviously specific reasons, because you have to build a solid foundation. You build a business on a rocky, foundation, it collapses. The same thing with the house and the same thing with life. So I feel like you've got to lay down a solid foundation when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to stress and relaxation and self-care and everything that I believe, are the 8 core pillars of health and wellness. And that's mindset, physical and emotional health. So once you get into grad babes, it's really just continuing that support and that accountability and that love. After that, I don't want you in the program, because if you are still in my program 6 months from there, then I feel like I have not done my job as a coach. It's my job to empower them to become their own coaches, to become their own trainers, to understand food. Like, they just come out of a different woman, and then they can go on to a different coach that can help them do different things. But yeah, I want to inspire them and give them the education and the tools, and unlock those limiting beliefs so that they become unstoppable. And they don't need me, honestly,
That's the good measure of a coach, isn't it? A coach isn't somebody who should be there all the time.
Right.
They give you enough tools to be able to do things on your own. And
right.
and to progress from there, which is absolutely perfect. So what advice would you give to somebody who is listening, who maybe resonates with your story and they're thinking, oh, I can't really do this. I am, I don't know, 300 pounds or whatever I am, and I'm really unhappy, but it's not going to work for me because I've got this, and this going on. What would you say to them?
So many tips. I think the first one has to be just start. It doesn't matter where you start. Identify what you could do, what you can commit to, and just start. Whether it's 1 day of movement a week, or whether it's 5 days, whether it's one healthy meal, or I just need to cut my soda in half. Just start. There's never the day to quit smoking, start a business, have a baby. Never a perfect day to just start losing weight. So you just have to start. You have to be willing to throw out the excuses and the BS and the stories that you've been making for yourself. You have to kind of surrender it and say, I need help. It's hard to do it alone. I will tell you that. So number one would be to just start. Don't start next Monday. Start today if you're listening. Start cleaning up
Monday.
Yes. Yeah. It's always that, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start, my next meal will be clean. Just start, and just, don't be afraid, to fail, because you're going to relapse. And losing weight, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it definitely doesn't have to be hard. So just start.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Karissa, for joining me today. It's been absolutely amazing. And I'm really, really sure that you're going to win this health. You are just phenomenal. And you're going to be a huge role model to so many different women all over the world. So thank you for joining me on my show. And I look forward to seeing you on the cover of Health and Fitness.
I will send you a signed copy.
Yay, I can't wait.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. Now, we just heard from a really inspirational woman who's transformed her life and is in the process of transforming the lives of women all around the world. And the law of attraction is something that I truly believe works in combination with changing your life, changing the world around you, and impacting everybody on a global level. And that's why I am moving more into the work of my law of attraction coaching. So I've been a law of attraction practitioner for many years now, and I have worked in that field, but I've also dulled it down quite a bit sometimes. And that's because I didn't think I'd be taken too seriously. Although this podcast is absolute proof that isn't true, because people love the law of attraction. People love to find out about their vibrational energy, because some of the best episodes I have been me talking about that exact same topic. So I'm moving into opening up my law of attraction coaching a little bit more. And I'm inviting you today to take the courage to step into the life that you truly desire, not to take no for an answer anymore, and really embrace you and your calling. Now, I know that you have a powerful potential because it's already affecting the world. But only you know if you are ready to make the change now, to really step up and step into that power. Now, I'm going to start working with a small number of people to begin with, so that I can really focus and help you to get the results that you want on a bigger scale. And if you want to be one of the first to work with me on this law of attraction coaching on an intimate level, then please make sure you book an exploratory call with me this week. I can actually feel the shifts that are coming, and I really want to work with people who are passionate about making change and who are ready to change their lives. So if you are ready for that change, book your call with me. I'll put a link in the show notes, and let's get your life and the world's energy to the next level. Sending you lots of love for an absolutely phenomenal week. I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset, and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy, inspired, motivated.